Hey everyone, welcome to another make that $2,000 strap search. That's right, for 2023, I'm going to start doing $2,000 strap searches just to catch up. Right now, I can do 13 weeks of $2,000 strap searches before I'd ever have to search another strap at all. That's how far behind I've got, and I've got a bunch of stuff that I've purchased, so I've got all kinds of stuff for views. So we are going to do 2,000 at a time just to get through some of the stuff that's piling up. So my $2,000 strap search. But before we figure out what I found on this, let's talk about this week's tip. Just because one person bought an item at an auction does not mean that is the going rate for that item. I've been dealing with so many different people now saying, well, I saw it sell for this on eBay. Great. When that person takes the item to an actual dealer and finds out that they were scammed, does that make it worth $150? No. If someone has $1 and they sell it for $150 and find out it's only worth $1, eBay said it was worth $150 because you can Google it. Don't use eBay as a reference, especially for collectibles. You can use Heritage because Heritage is going to verify everything before they put it up for sale. On eBay, anybody can sell anything. So be aware. And there's a lot of great stuff on eBay, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of very unscrupulous people on eBay as well. And unfortunately, that carries over into YouTube because people will simply do a search and go, oh, here's what they're selling for, when it's literally just, okay, 10 people got scammed by this. That doesn't make it worth that amount of money just because 10 people fell for it. All right, anyway, got $2,000 in singles. Let's get this out of the way and take a look at what I found. Starting off, found a Where's George. Love the Where's Georges. I'm going to log that in right away. Found an interesting stamp. This one has Feel the Burn on there. Somebody stamped Bernie Sanders on there, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Now this one, when I first saw it, I'm like, is that an ink error? Is that an over-inking error or anything like that? And I can actually run my finger on that, and what that is actually is most likely a black ink pen that exploded and some of the ink carrying over, so I wouldn't even call that an error. Let's see. That certainly is a little bit of an error. You've got a 9 that's almost completely filled in. I've gone through a few 100,000 notes, and I've only found one 8 that was completely filled in. So finding a 9 that's almost filled in, I know how difficult that is to find compared to other notes where you're going to see like green marks across the top. That's just, that's something that is very, very common. Finding a filled digit like that, well, and this one isn't even 100% filled. So is it worth something? Maybe. I'm going to put it in my interesting pile, and I'm just going to keep it like that. I'm not going to tell you this is $1 million find. I just find it interesting, so I'll hold on to that. Found an alternator. Ones every other digit, 1 8, 1 6, 1 3, 1 7. And a bunch of trinaries, 2s, 6s, and 8s. 0s, 1s, and 2s. 4s, 5s, and 8s. Now, with my trinaries and with quads, I understand there's no additional value, but by saving these, I can then end up with matched pairs, which is extremely difficult to do, but it's even harder to do if you're just trying to match 2 random numbers. By using trinaries and by using quads, I've restricted the numbers that I'm looking at and make it much easier to find stuff like that in circulation. And I've already found 3 pairs. 0s, 2s, and 3s. 0s, 2s, and 5s. Here is 2s, 4s, and 7s. 1s, 5s, and 8s. 0s, 1s, and 4s. 0s, 3s, and 5s. One away from a binary there. 3s, 6s, and 8s. And then we got the quads. Quad 1s, quad 2s, quad 3s, quad 4s, quad 5s, quad 6s, another quad 6, quad 7s with a 5th. And then this has got 5 5s in a row. And this one's got the 5 8s in a row. So those are pretty good. My stars, 2017 star. I didn't find that many stars. 2017 J star note, starting with a couple zeros. That's got potential. Another 2017 J. And yes, I double checked all my stars just to make sure they aren't filled in stars. Once again, 2017, 2013, 2013 here. Here's a 2013 B, so this must be worth $1 million, right? No, I did a video on that one already too. Another 2013 B. And here's a 2003 A. This is getting to the older notes. We're officially in 2023. So this note is now technically 20 years old. Yes, I know it was actually printed further than that, but it's easier to look at 2003 and realize that it's 2023. So this is what I'm going to start pulling now. 2003s and older. Another one here, and here's a 2001. See, I went through 2,000 notes, and I found 2 notes that were 2003. So it's not like there's a ton of them out there. All right, I found more star notes than 2003 notes. Here's a 2001, another 2001, another 2001, 1999. If I remember right, I found quite a few 99s. Yep, varying degrees of goodness. Another 99 there, another 99, another 99, another 99. And another. So 99 was the big year. Here's a 95. 95, a little bit of a ink line there. 1988 in pretty rough shape. 1981, this one has a lot of crispness to it. A 1963B, one of the bar notes. These were only printed for 30 days, and this one's actually pretty crisp. I have the feeling this was definitely in somebody's collection for a long time. And the oldest note, I found an actual 1963. This is from the very first run of notes. These are the ones that are actually probably worth the most based on their age, because this is when they all started. You don't see these very often at all. All right, so those were my finds. What did I bring out? Well, like I said, I keep seeing so many people saying what's an error, what's not an error. This is worth $1 million, this is not. So I've got a couple errors that I'm going to be bringing out over the next few weeks just to help you guys out a little bit. And what I've got here, this is a 1950 $10 Federal Reserve note. Now, here's the beauty part of this. Do I even have to tell you what's wrong with this? No, I don't, because it's obvious. It's pretty obvious what the error is on this. It has a gutter fold, complete top to bottom gutter fold that goes through there. Now, what is a gutter fold? Well, first let's talk about the printing process. When a note is printed, the first thing they do is they print all the backs of the notes. So when you look at this note, you can see that, especially along the fold, everything is printed correctly. Okay, so that's the first part that's done. Then they flip over all the pages and they begin to do the second print, which is these areas right here. You've got the borders here, you've got the president here. All of that is going to be done on the second print. But when they flipped the pages, this particular page folded in on itself. So you actually have a clear line where the paper was folded over and then printed. And if you look real close, you can look on the bottom and see that right here, this side is actually lower than this side because the whole thing was folded at this little bit of an angle. Once again, if you look at the top, if I put that there, it's just a little bit, but you can see this side is higher than this side. It goes here, and then it drops down a little bit and goes here, here, goes this way, drops down a little bit, and here, and it goes right on that fold. Now, not only was that fold there when they did the second printing, but when you look at the serial number and the seal, that is broken as well, which means that the fold continued to be there into the third printing. So they got the first printing right. It was the second and third printing that are actually affected by the error. These are actually fairly common, but still a legitimate error. And the cool part about this is it's not on a $1 bill, it's on a $10 bill. So you get a little more value for that as well. So when you're looking for stuff, if you can't spot the error immediately, maybe it's not really an error. But something like this, yes, this is definitely an error. You can send this in and it's going to get the gutter fold error designation. When you send in errors, generally they'll charge you an extra $40 or so for that error designation. That's another hint. You see, if a person doesn't want to pay the extra $40 for that designation, then maybe it's not really worth it. If it was, like this is worth $10, and if I just said, oh, it's worth $10, and I didn't get it graded and tried to sell it to you for $20, well, why would you buy it then? Anyway, because this actually holds some value, it would make sense to grade it. This is one of my recent purchases, and I have yet to decide whether I'm going to send it in for grading or if I'm going to put it in my auction and let you guys have it for a good price. Anyway, that's what I've got for you guys this week. The 1958 $10 Federal Reserve note that's got a gutter fold. An actual error. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next week.